Hi everyone, it's Maria from J'adore le papier, doing a flip through of this Parfum journal, a custom journal for a very special lady. It's actually redesigned based on some pages that she sent me from her personal collection. The size of the antique photo album, so it was going to be 8 by 11, but now it's just about 10 by 13 inches or so. And I kept the original spine. I didn't want to replace or remove the original velvet spine. Told it to me, she's not sure if this was the original intended color of the velvet, but I think it's just faded over time, is my guess. Because it's actually very, very alligator mouth because of the chipboard front and back that I've given it. But I'll show you that when we open it up. Chenille covered or wool covered cover, and we'll just go straight in. Is about a lady and her love for perfume or parfum. She actually sent me a list of all her favorites, so those will be the primary stars of this journal. This on the inside is just glued down on the corner so she could actually use it as a tuck. The first one is a Chanel digital sketch that I created for number 5, and I printed it to the Arches watercolor paper just to give it this really nice sharp look. And then throughout the journal I'm going to describe her favorite perfumes, their top notes, the nose, the creator of the perfume, and then the primary scents that you smell. So you'll see a lot of botanical images throughout. And this first page here is actually from Catherine of French Billet Doux. It's actually a French advertisement. Grasse, France is the perfume capital of the world. They're the ones who produce probably 60% of the world's raw material required to make perfume. But this is a copy of a share of one of the, I think, 600 companies in Grasse. This is a map showing you where it is in the south of France. The reason I go to Grasse is usually when I'm in Nice. When I used to travel, I don't travel anymore. It's in the south of France, so if I'm usually in Nice, Grasse is just a train ride away. I connect through Cannes and then straight up to Grasse. So this is actually a train schedule map. And then some fun facts about Grasse, just because I have to do my homework whenever I do a journal. So during the Renaissance, or right before the Renaissance period, Grasse was known for their leather making, especially because of their proximity to Italy and the needs of the royal family. But it was Catherine de Medici. She was the Queen of France in the middle 1500s. I'll flash it on the screen. She was actually gifted a pair of perfume scented gloves, but they were so popular and she loved them so much that it became sort of a fad or the rage to have perfume scented gloves, because the gloves typically from the tannery smelled so bad. So if it wasn't for her, Grasse would not be on the map. So a lot of these pages are original and very fragile, so I did a lot of reinforcing. But the binding that I used is my traditional book binding, just so I could fit in as many of the pages as possible, and also give them the mull backing just to make sure that they try to survive another 100 years if possible. 5 primary flowers or botanicals that are grown are represented in these flashcards here. Iris, May rose, orange blossom, the mimosa, and then of course myrtle. So those are the top 5 primary botanicals that are grown. The honorary lavender, especially because there are 2 big couture houses that have their own plantations there, Chanel and Dior, of course. So throughout the journal, I had to edit out some of the original art that I had, but the primary is the bottles. I wanted to celebrate the bottles and the boxes that these perfumes were packaged in originally. But the bottles, especially the vintage and antiques, were so beautiful. So whenever I have a label, and most of these labels came from Mina in Nice, I think it's La French Riviera. I'll link everybody below. And some handmade paper with double textures from a lady in Hawaii. So this was the second textured one that I couldn't let go of. It's actually a recreation of one of the last scents that I purchased in Grasse when I was there maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And it was the Belle de Nuit. Designed some perfume cards as journal cards, all digitally designed just like the front Chanel bottle. That can be used for any occasion, birthday cards or just journaling cards. And then, of course, I wrote a little bit about Belle de Nuit. Perfume manufacturers or makers are Fragonard and 2 others that are listed in the fun facts about Grasse that I have out front there. But this is usually the type of canister that I will buy when I do a parfum, just because then it can last almost forever, basically, because no sun will penetrate or affect the actual perfume itself. So they come in bigger bottles. I'll flash the bigger bottle of the Belle de Nuit on the screen. This lady here actually represents 2 different evening style perfumes. Citrusy scent, just because of the orange of her fashion design here. And then the original ad that is from 1922 December is Un Jardin la Nuit, and that was made by a company called Aris. And I tried to find the notes on Un Jardin la Nuit. Is no longer around. I couldn't find it, so I went ahead and just digitally designed what I believe the bottles could have been. Of course, her second personality is the blue dress, the blue gown. So the Belle de Nuit in the blues is a little bit more fun, but adventurous for evening also. When the owner smells, a lot of the notes that the perfumes that she loves, based on the list she gave me, really do take on the personality of Belle de Nuit. So here's the original magazine pages, and then the bottom half of that Aris advertisement. This book is so big that I'm going to have trouble showing you vertical pages like this, but these advertisements I've scanned and I'll create them as part of the digital, just because when I was looking up advertisements, vintage and antique advertisements for fashion and or parfum, 1, they were rare, but 2, they're also really expensive if you want to purchase the originals. I love this one, Tekla. They do the fine jewelry, especially the pearl ads. You'll see that I do have a lot of reinforcing here for the owner, just because based on where you grab your pages, there's a lot of wear. And of course, these being antique pages, now 101 years old. So this is one of her first favorites that she gave me on her list. This first one is Quelques Fleurs by Houbigan in Paris. And I just recreated, when I was a kid, I used to create little cutouts because, of course, I couldn't afford to buy things on my own, but also because I love to play paper dolls. And it's kind of funny that I now make journals with these magazine pages. Even if you build in allowance to the spine, I reinforced a lot of the spines and built the pages together. The primary notes of Quelques Fleurs are green notes like the orange blossom, tarragon, bergamot, citruses, and lemon. Vanilla is something that the owner seems to love. There's a lot of common notes that she loves based on the list she gave me. Harper's Bazaar, 1931. This is where the owner's collection starts. One note about these floral cards, they're actually original and antique biscuit advertisements, and these also came from La French Riviera. One of her second or third now, because Chanel is first, third favorites is Bologna by Caron in Paris. And the primary notes there are rose and also violet, lily of the valley, which happens to be the favorite flower of Christian Dior. flower of the year for 2023. So I just thought the owner might want something from this year since I created this journal for her this year. She actually sent me a sample, so anything Chanel is basically one of her favorites. And so I just wanted to put this original packaging for the sample in here for her because she could actually create it into a tuck anywhere she'd like. Giant journal card. Supposed to look like the boxes that I would imagine these perfumes to come in, and then also the bottles. But this is an original of Le Bleu, and the primary notes here are the carnation, violet, clove. The scene with the bride holding the lily of the valley. Lily is popular for weddings, so I just love this original postcard from the owner. It's a little flower girl, and I don't see, I'm not sure of the year. Facts about Lily of the Valley for her on how it's used in perfumes by Dior especially, and then the tradition of using it for weddings. Is dedication to the violets that are prominent throughout all of the owner's favorite perfumes, and then one of my digitally created perfume bottles or imagined. So it's a digital pencil and watercolor sketch. This kit card again is one of the originals from La French Riviera here, and then her second favorite designer, Christian Dior. So that's just an image I found from their website, but I just wanted it to look like a Polaroid. And then one of his quotes: I feel as much a courtier as a perfumer or a perfume maker. Laces throughout are basically from Ina of Exquisite Journals. This is a rare collector's postcard of some perfume bottles, and this also comes from La French Riviera, and it's unused. Oh, and this is one of the original ads for the very first Christian Dior Parfum, Miss Dior, 1947. And I do have some fun facts as to when it came out. 1947 for his very first fashion show of the Lily of the Valley, another botanical. About the orchid, and it is used in a lot of luxury perfumes. But this book page, who I actually got from Sarah at Crafty Paper Bits, it's a story about the Russian royalty coming to visit Paris and how they brought with them orchids, or orchid and popular scent. That's why it started to be used in a lot of the perfumes that were made in France. So I just made her this journal card, part embroidery and then part paper. Any French knots I used just because the book was getting so thick. But this could become a journal card, or she could use it as a greeting card or Mother's Day card maybe. This is, I think, now her 6th favorite perfume, Noël de Nuit by Caron also. So the primary notes for this one are ylang ylang, tincture of rose jasmine, which this image here, perfume bottles. Tuck her away. boudoir or her dressing table, and all the antique perfume bottles that she might be collecting. So they're actually just double tucks made from antique ledger paper and part of Sam Poole's still life. Both this backdrop here and this image for this. Now it's actually this is a dandruff shampoo, but they still use the essence from different plants, etc. And it's actually a tuck, so you can actually tuck something behind there. Here is an imagined perfume bottle based on the shape of the original Bologna by Caron, which is one of her favorites. Oh, and I do have the scent notes on Bologna right in this tuck here. So again, Lily of the Valley, Primary Violets, Carnation and Rose. Okay, I think we're on her 7th favorite perfume. It's a newer one by Dior called J'adore. And these are, again, the notes. And then these are just some fabric rose petals that I love because they have the ribbon that Dior loves to put on some of their newer bottles. Did print it to the Arches watercolor paper just to give it that dramatic frameable look, and it's nice and sturdy. So if she wants to frame this as a memory in memory of her grandmother, she could always do that. Notes in white shoulders, one of them being vanilla, and then there's a sketch of vanilla pickers, lilac, journal card, and then a description of white shoulders. Let me see here if it'll focus, but then this is actually part of the tuck on the next page of an original Chanel envelope from her own collection. It was actually a Chanel No. 5 sticker from her own collection. So that's just tucked inside her envelope there. And then behind is a more modern photograph of Chanel No. 5 bottle. I'll flash the artist's name, but it's from the public domain. Then here are the notes on Chanel No. 5. So again, it is very abstract and goes through the history of how she created her very simple, clean line, almost a little like a whiskey pocket. What do you call those? Whiskey flasks. This is actually the #1 selling perfume of all time, No. 5. And then number 2 selling of all time is Joy by Jean Patou. So it was launched in 1930 in reaction to the 1929 stock market crash. So even though Jean Patou and all of his wealthy clients lost most of their wealth during the stock market crash, he still wanted them to have something luxurious and to still smell luxurious like their old life. Is one of her other favorites, Chantilly. I think her grandmother or her mother's favorites. I don't remember now. So this is an advertisement. And then I do have the notes. It's beautiful. And some fun facts about Chantilly lace, which is the Chantilly lace that I have right here as the tuck that I got from Ina Exquisite Journals. This is my favorite layout. I didn't add anything. I didn't even do the notes on it. This page here, look at the collection of the bottles. I don't know if that was probably a paint stroke, and then some digitally added colors, but the oranges. This is my second favorite layout after the yellow layouts. These images just so I could find out who the artist is. And I just added a little pop of orange wrapping paper there. see the spine, even though these are magazine pages, does have the mull to help it. And it has a double layer of extra lace behind the mull before the velvet spine. Exclusively for a while, no one else could wear it, by Givenchy, who made a lot of her gown designs for her films. But once she was the only woman in the world allowed to wear the perfume. And actually, the base notes are peaches and strawberries, just like her complexion and her personality. Journal card, and this is her perfume, that bottle right here. So this peaches and strawberry color. Okay, the translation is the prohibited. So l'interdit. It's just a beautiful bottle. And I just love the little cherub next to the pages, and on the other side are all of the things that her grandmother would probably have or own. Of course, the fancy gloves and the little and the fancy matching belt and fancy evening bags, and then this little tuck with a little teeny tiny, how big is this, 1 inch by 2 inch or 1 3/4 inch label for a eau de cologne advertisement for hosiery. And that little tuck. This page here is dedicated to her mom's favorite, and I have a little bit of tulle on the end of this because she is covered in tulle, her veil from her hat. And look at that earring. Anyway, this tulle is actually meant to be like a little tab to help reinforce the page because it was really brittle. And then look at that jewelry on this young woman here who might be the owner's mom. Not in real life, but just how I imagine. And then this is one of the rare postcards from La French Riviera. It's actually a poem about his love, and the love of her scent translates to the love for her. Look at that stamp, that color. I did scan this one. Our bottle here, the shape of it, and why the fan is this way. It's actually meant to be the water and the basins from the Shalimar Gardens. So I do have that history here, and the top notes being bergamot, lemon, cedar, mandarin orange. Again, common throughout some of her favorite scents. The transparency of the lid of the stopper, recalls the garden's eternally gushing waters. So this right here, the gushing waters. And then these are the water basins that you'll find throughout the Shalimar Gardens from this 1960s ad. The pages are pretty brittle, but I did reinforce it with some of the same from her ribbon so that she could put her extra journaling cards in here or any notes that I have. Spanish lavender, it's a really pretty color. Some clove. And this is actually an original advertisement, a French version that came from Catherine, Catherine from French Billet Doux. I hope she enjoys all of the journal cards. I hope she loves that I kept the journal with this green velvet. But thanks for joining me. I will be making at least 3 more fashion. The next one is Biarritz, Chanel and Biarritz, Chanel by the Sea. And then followed by that will be the Hermes, and then the Versailles Gardens. So I will see you hopefully in a couple weeks. And again, thanks for your support and joining me. Bye.